Germany, China also live, so great double bill here. But USA, they need a victory and in the process an improved performance here today to go with it, as Coach Samani wasn't too despondent though, despite that 1-1 draw with Japan. He said they created enough chances to win 2 or 3 games, but they were somewhat blunt in front of goal. But they were, in essence, pre-season, remember here. As for Sweden, Sundag has made much of this new 4-1-3-2 system they're adopting here. It did feel a little more defensive than offensive in the opening game. So this may well be a tight game and patience may well be needed. So if you missed any of the goals in those first round of matches, let's run through them now and show you exactly what happened then on match day 1. And so then, Sweden first up against Denmark. Pernille Harder wasn't there for Denmark. Lotte Schering wasn't there for the Swedes. Both recovering from injury. That was Nida Fischer. And there with the follow-up was Aslani. 15 minutes in, and the Swedes into a 1-goal lead. Good jump this. Three minutes later, Fischer was there again. Different outcome though. Just rolled off of it into the back of the net, and that was it. 2-0. And the Swedes cruised for the rest of the game. Well, the USA opened against Japan, and these two have always had competitive meetings, of course, in the last couple of years in the World Cup and indeed in the Olympic final. Christian Press is the top scorer for the USA, along with Sidney Leroux this year. That was the opening chance for Leroux, or for Press rather. Leroux with the follow-up. Good save as well. Yamane in the goal for Japan today. It wasn't all good though for Yamane, as we'll see a little later. Leroux, using her strength, got into a great position, but then tried to pick out the tightest angle in the near side of the keeper Yamane's goal, which she had well covered. Now watch this. Yamane had a great game. Leroux just prowling around and makes capital off of a huge error from Yamane. Japan had not too many chances actually in the course of this match. This was another one for Leroux. And both coaches made full use of the 6 substitutions allowed. Now, Hope Solo was beaten by a 40-meter strike last year, and she was beaten again here. No excuses really for a keeper of her quality to be beaten from that distance. And Miyama with a very good strike indeed. Just look at the ball move here. She took those 2 steps over to the right, and that took her away from the flight of the ball, and she didn't have enough to make it back over there. So last chance coming up for Whitney Engin. Good recovery that from Yamane. Leroux keeping it in, but that was the end of the chances for USA. Now Germany were in action against Iceland, and this game was only ever going to go one way. And the player who had the best of the opening half hour was the German number 10, Marasan. Seen her in action for club. This was all about the Frankfurt players here today, putting on a bit of a show. Sasic, who's of course a partner top scorer in the Frauen Bundesliga, and she's setting her up. Fine goal. And in comes another. Beautifully taken this time from Marazan. That was on 23. This was adjudged to have been a penalty. It seems a little bit harsh. The referee was in no doubt whatsoever. Helga Dottir bringing down and stepping up. The penalty scored by Celia Sasic. That was the end of the goals for the first half. It was 3-0, as you can see. Germany would come out in the second and add another 2. Gösling with the first. Beautifully taken goal, that. Giving the keeper absolutely no chance. And they'd sent Alex Popp on. And she found her way through, latched onto the end of that ball. And Germany running out 5-0 winners. And we are back in Albufeira, where it is the USA about to take on Sweden. Sue Smith is alongside me. You watched the Swedes in that opening game. There was a bit of discussion about this 4-1-3-2 formation they sent out.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Oh, I don't know, because you know that Sweden, or obviously you think that Sweden are going to play a 4-4-2 because they've done it for years. And of course, this is a time to try out new things and try out new formations, and that's exactly what they did. And at times it worked, but they missed Shelling for me. That was, you know, she's a fantastic player. She's somebody that can get on the end of the ball. She links up really well with Aslani.
Back from injury today.
Back from injury, which is fantastic for Sweden, and you know, fantastic for us to watch. And I think they created chances, but they weren't at their best. I don't think Denmark were at their best, so I don't think Sweden needed to, you know, get out of that second or third gear, which you always think they can do.
I was going to say, this holding midfield position, I mean, they had Sega and Dahlqvist in those two positions, but neither of them seemed to be taking responsibility to play it.
Yeah, that was the thing, and it's probably because they're not actually used to playing that position, so you could see that, I suppose, you know, the Sweden, probably Piers Sundhage has probably said, as long as there's one there, it doesn't matter, as long as we've got protection in front of the back four, whichever one, you know, is going to, they can rotate, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it was like they weren't quite used to that formation. But again, you know, like I said, this is a time to try new things out. So again, if they try it again against the United States, you wonder how will that work? Would you go back to your old system of 4-4-2, what you know, what all the players know and they're used to?
Interestingly enough, it was down to the old guard, really. In particular, think about Nita Fischer, who won the first header, which Aslani followed in and scored the first goal, and then she got the second. Still important play.
Yeah, without a doubt. Nyla Fischer, you know, she's a centre-half, and she's one of the top goal scorers, isn't she? And
this is a position that she was actually developed into by Sundhage.
Which, yeah, because she played centre midfield for a good while, and you can see she's a centre midfield type player because she's good on the ball. When she receives it, she wants to look for a pass. You know, it's not the long ball, which, you know, often a lot of centre-halves would do. No disrespect to centre-halves there, but, you know, that's often a long ball game, whereas she doesn't. She tries to play it out from the back, and it's nice to see. But on set pieces, she's so difficult to pick up. So I'm sure USA today will be, you know, focused on her and making sure that she doesn't get any sort of free headers, which she did against Denmark.
Yeah, it's interesting because the USA have made some key changes to their team today. We'll get the confirmed lineups in just a minute, but you might have seen one of them walking down the line there, doing the high five, the legend that is Abby Wambach. We'll begin, though, as ever, with the national anthems of Sweden and USA.
For the national anthem of the United States of America.
primed and ready to go as ever, Team USA. Next up, the national anthem then of Sweden. So the wind is gusting around here again, just as it was a couple of days ago. Our referee today is Yemi Martinez Valverde of Colombia. And the teams, well, we didn't get team graphics, so we'll just give you a few of the details about the teams today. Both of the coaches are making changes. Engen and Cox are out of the back four for the USA. Rampone, who's galloping toward that 300 cap mark, is in, as is Klingenberg today. Midfield stays as is with O'Reilly and Rapinoe, initially operating in the wide positions. Well, they are going to put teams up today then, with Brian and Lloyd central up front. The call goes out for goals, and in comes Abby Wambach looking for goal 166. Amy Rodriguez is the support. That's the other change. Sweden, as we said, 4-1-3-2 they're going to play today. Well, they're going to try and play it. One change for them. Goranson is out and Lottie Schellin is in. Just how fully fit she is, we will see very shortly. So interesting changes from both coaches. Sundhage, of course, knows everything there is to know about all of these USA players because she's worked with them all, of course, over her time. And those changes at the back, Rampone in and Klingenberg in. Cox didn't have too bad a game, actually, the other day,
no,
to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
and
with Engen. No, I thought they both played well, and I just think it's, you know, like I said, it's a tournament, it's a chance to try out different things, and obviously you know what Rampone can do. She's won, you know, like you said, nearly 300 caps, so, but I just think probably it's fatigue. You know, they've had 1 day recovery, so that's, yes, they are one of the fittest teams in the world, but they're still going to be tired. So I think she's just probably using a squad and trying out different things. So, you know, it's nice to have that, isn't it? It's nice to have that luxury of having absolutely great players to bring in.
And we saw Tobin Heath, who returned. She came on as a second half substitute. Press and LaRue, who are the top scorers for USA this year, back in 2014, where they've been scoring goals for absolute fun. Here we go. It's the what are they talking about in there?
I don't know. It's like they're having a little dance. Yeah,
I think. What do you say? What are you saying?
I shouldn't say that sort of stuff, should I? It's a secret.
Let us into a secret.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a motivational talk, but I'm sure Pia Sundhage is probably giving them a little sing-song, isn't she?
Well, this is the woman who really did stun the audience. Remember at the FIFA World Gala a year ago when she turned up, picked the microphone up, and instead of saying thank you for your votes, belted out a song. Hope Amelia Solo has been beaten from long distance in the last 2 years. Dahlqvist, with a bit of wind assistance, beat her from, what, 35 meters out last year. And she was beaten by Miyama. Again, a little bit too slow to react. Actually, she'd be really disappointed with that, especially as she's only a few games away from equaling the 71 games worth of clean sheets that Brianna Scurry set years ago now.
Yeah, she'd be really disappointed with that. And I think, you know, she's such a top quality keeper to get beaten from so far out. And it was just, I think they highlighted it on their you know, on the actual highlights that I was watching, and it was that she took 2 steps to the right, which then she just couldn't get a foot in, and yeah, she'd be really disappointed. But she's that sort of keeper that will respond to that, and I'm sure today she won't be making mistakes like she did against Japan.
Klingenberg. You see Simoni on the bench. Knows what pressure is about as having taken over this particular role. The expectation is to literally win everything. And they've not had a bad start to the year, banging in goals against the Russians. 15-odd goals and a narrow victory over the Canadians as well. This is Rodriguez looking for the support from midfield. At times it was a little slow in getting up. Press had a really good game, put an awful lot of effort in. But at times it seemed as if she was working a bit on her own up front. There was not a lot of understanding between her and Leroux the other day. Here's Rapinoe.
Just that little bit of quality, isn't it? I think that they lacked, and that's normally what you see from USA.
There's Klingenberg, who we've seen in action in recent weeks, playing in the Bundesliga. There's a player that we always like watching in action. Lotte Schelin, such a great player. There's Rapinoe again. Zabrun back to Solo. They're playing themselves into a bit of trouble there. Much more pressing, that's a foul given away by Schelin.
Yeah,
but this is the good thing about Sweden, isn't it? You know that they will press the USA high up.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They are pressing really high, and that's what America do. So it'll be quite interesting to see, you know, who gets the better of that sort of competition. But that's what you want. You want your forward players to stop the defence from playing the ball out and win the ball high up. It makes it easier for the rest of the team.
Remember, it's only the top team in the group that will play the championship match. Nobody has won this event more often than the USA.
I think a lot of teams as well, when they play against America, they do tend to sit back and try and limit their space and, you know, hit
exactly
America on the
what Japan
counter-attack.
did.
Yeah, whereas, you know, like you said, Sweden won't do that.
Well, Wambach's in the channel. You can see how important that the Americans are actually taking this by the fact that Wambach is back in this team with Rodriguez. The change is mainly about the potential to score goals here.
Oh, without a doubt, and that's the American mentality. They don't want to. The fact that they drew with Japan, that they'll see that as a defeat, you know, because they should have won it. They created enough chances, they just couldn't score. So today they'll want to be putting that right, and they'll want to get that win and progress to the next. And it just shows how important the Algarve Cup actually is. You know, yes, it's a tournament to develop and progress, but it's,
you want to win it.
Of course you do. Yeah, you want to win everything that you take part in.
Then Schelin is applying the pressure. The Swedish girls, incidentally, wearing the black armbands today in memory of Pete Svensson, who was the physio who has sadly passed on. There's Rodriguez. We need for support from Zabrun. First time they've got O'Reilly involved in the game. Trying to get Krieger up involved with it as well. Is Rapinoe. Well, that really is just following on from where Rapinoe finished the game a couple of nights ago. She had a couple of attempts, got herself in positions like that, but she blazed them either wide or high.
Yeah, disappointing from Rapinoe. It's good work from O'Reilly, and actually a nice leave. You know, it was a nice little over, but Rapinoe's just got to be a little bit more confident and maybe even take a touch there. She probably had time to take a touch, set herself and curl the ball in, but first time shot, miles over.
Been playing, of course, Rapinoe in Europe. Back in the USA at Seattle. There's Krieger. And they use the full width, don't they? Both full-backs feel out right to the touchline. There's a lot of space. If the Swedes can pick the ball off of Zabrun or Rampone, then they got players over.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's an if.
It is an if, yeah, because they're so comfortable on the ball to be able to play the ball out, and the fullbacks obviously trust the two centre-halves to do that.
O'Reilly back to Krieger. Lundahl in goal for Sweden. Sega. Shannon, who loves nothing more than those physical one-on-one battles, does she?
She'll definitely get one of those today, won't she?
Certainly will. Vive is Fischer. Of course, many of the Swedish players are at a different stage of their season. Been playing coming into the second half of their league campaigns, wherever they're playing, be it in Germany or in the Nordic regions. Here's Rapinoe. That's a lovely ball that time by Rapinoe, but Lundahl's read it well and come for it. Riley's buzzing around in there. How about that for a bit of calm defending from Fischer? But is that under hit? It was very close to being. Lundahl reacted and got there in the end. They made it look calm and collected, but it was anything but. There's Sega. Half a chance then.
It was, and Lindahl's very good off a line. She reads the game very well and acts as a sweeper at times.
Robinson out to Sjögren.
Nala Fischer certainly tested her feet there, didn't she?
But is such a commanding, all-knowledgeable presence wherever she is around there. Her importance to the team certainly cannot be understated. This is Rolin. Again, that was a little bit slack. O'Reilly's up with him now. Rodriguez is forward. Wambach is on the edge of the penalty area. It's all about the positioning. There's Wambach. Well, that did have a pre-season feel to it.
Yeah, it did. I was just saying Lindahl and how good she is at her feet, and you know, she goes and gives the ball away quite cheaply there. And yeah, Wambach got herself into a good position. We know that she's going to get into the box like that, but yeah, it was just a sort of poor finish, wasn't it? Whether it took a bobble, we'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
There's Rubinson, who gave the ball away a bit, you thought, didn't you, in the opening game?
Yeah, for me, she was the weak link for Sweden. Every time she got the ball, she tried to sort of come inside, and it just kept getting cut out. She didn't really seem to have a plan B, and actually came off at half-time. So they're giving her another chance to see how she does. But yeah, I wasn't too impressed in the game against Denmark.
Ryan and Lloyd battling away with Dugfist and Sager in there. Very comfortable in possession was Brian. Lloyd's picked it up here. Brian's gone on ahead. This is Wambach. Ooh, Wambach again, not quite up with it at the moment. The flag up as well.
I think it was actually called offside in the end, but yeah, it was just that little pass through, not quite sharp.
Was tight when the ball was played. She was marginally offside. Here's Rolin again, looking for Rubinson. Lundahl. Rapinoe nicks it away into Wambach, back to Rapinoe. Wambach will pick it up again. Rodriguez is waiting there too, and Fischer wins the day again. There's Sega. These back passes they're making to Lindahl. You can see out the corner of the eyes of the American forwards up there. In that case, Rodriguez and O'Reilly was creeping in. It's almost like they're second-guessing they're going to be using Lindahl a bit more often. They're
chasing her down, they're stopping her playing it out, and you know, Lindahl's balls out to the defence haven't really been great. It's been putting the defenders under pressure.
O'Reilly is there. Into Brian now, nice turn. Tries to get it onto her left foot, and this time the interception takes the heat out of the shot.
Just comes inside there on her left foot and takes a deflection. You can see Wambach's there, just waiting for any slip up.
And that was Jakobsen. scored a great goal, Jakobsen. You might have seen a couple of weeks ago for Kloppenburg in action against Frankfurt. Actually, it might have been Wolfsburg. There's a real battle at the top of the table in the Bundesliga.
She's got a lot of potential, Jakobsen. She's got a lot of pace to burn.
Huge amount of pace. It was a breakaway goal that she scored, believe it or not, around half the length of the field.
Yeah. I think if you're going to use a counter-attack sort of strategy, she's the perfect person for that. Hit the ball behind the defenders and she'll get onto it.
Rapinoe. Krieger's up there to put the pressure on Rubenson, and again they go back. Rapinoe isn't going to get there. Fischer does. Here's Samuelsson. Into Schelin. You can hear the shouts of no, no, no coming from home solo.
She definitely didn't want that, did she? She could see Asllani was just closing her down. Good shout.
There's Sabrun. Fischer misjudged the bounce of the ball there, but again made the recovery. Samuelsson. Sweden having trouble getting outside their own half at the moment. Well, they've worked their way out this time. Asllani through the middle. There's Schelin moving from left to right. Sager's ball over the top, looking for the run of Rubenson, who was getting forward.
That's the ball. That's what they have to do. Because obviously the fullbacks of USA are pushing on. The space is out wide. So if you can get your fullbacks bombing on, that's where Sweden can get in.
Here's Jakobsen. Asllani up there. And Schelin. Back to Jakobsen. She gives it away as well. Lloyd. Rapinoe wide of her. Samuelsson stayed forward. Swedes trying to do to the USA what they've been doing to them. Keep them penned inside their own half, force them to play those early balls.
I think if they're going to do that, they have to go together like USA do. They can't just go in ones and twos because America will just play the ball around them.
Now, plenty of options here. Rapinoe is available. Wambach is at the back post. And again, they did make note of the quality of the pitch out here, which is a little bumpy.
Yeah, I think it is sort of playing there myself. It is bumpy. The grass is a little bit long as well, so the ball holds up. And you can see with that pass, if there was a little bit of water on the pitch, it probably would have rolled out to Rapinoe, but instead it held up a little bit and give the defender a chance to get in. It's the same for both teams, though, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Dahlqvist coming back to lend a hand. Now, there's plenty to aim at in here. It's all about the quality of the delivery, which was poor again. There is a bit of breeze around the place, so it's often, it is difficult to get that flight right, isn't it?
Yeah, wind is the worst weather condition to play in. You know, you can cope with rain, you can cope with when it's cold, but when it's windy, it's so difficult. And you could see there, it just needed to come out a little bit more, didn't it? And, you know, actually give Wambach no chance to get on the end of it.
Wherever Wambach's going, Fischer's following.
Yeah, yeah.
As you've
That'll
probably
be a great
seen.
battle.
15 minutes gone. The USA need a victory here. Sweden, remember, will end against Japan. Interesting ball. Oh, just mistimed it again, Wambach.
That was a fantastic ball in. I actually don't think Wambach thought it was going to come in that soon.
Krieger it was who made it.
Yeah, just a little bit little bit behind. That's just match sharpness, isn't it, that she won't have. She's in pre-season, she's been injured, so she's been out, and you can just see she just couldn't quite get to that. Give her a few more games, I'm sure she'll be alive.
Do you know what? Everybody else on this team, bar perhaps Christy Rampona's got maybe a page-and-a-half profile, 2-page profile, is Rodriguez through here. Now, can she find a finish? She's delayed it, and Rowland makes the challenge and gives away a penalty. Well, I think the USA have been a bit fortunate there. And she gets a yellow card for it. The Colombian referee had no hesitation.
Wow.
Rodriguez, I don't think there was too much in the way of a complaint from anybody either there.
No, I'd like to see that again, because for me, I just thought Rodriguez just took too much time on the ball. It's a lovely header on, and she reads it really well, and she's driving in. Good first touch, good second touch. But then I think she could have hit it.
Absolutely nothing wrong with it.
No.
She wins the ball. There.
Perfect tackle. Perfect tackle.
This is some penalty take. This is the one step and bang. Now, there's one player that can execute it. It's the woman that's over the ball here. Abby Wambach. Wambach against Lindahl. There you can see the wind just rolling the ball a bit. And it is Wambach then for goal number 20 in the Algarve Cup, and she's missed it.
Oh.
And that's a bit of justice done then. That was a good save as well, because she did get it almost in the corner, but there was no power in it.
No, you're right. It was a very good save. And like you said, justice, because it was a fantastic tackle. Shouldn't have been a penalty. And Lindahl read it well. And surprising from Wambach. Normally she gets a lot of power on those. Like you say, she'll take a couple of steps. And it was nicely in the corner, but just not enough power to get past the keeper.
She's delivered them so much success over the years. There's going to be a brave person that criticises her for missing a penalty out of the, 165 career goals she's got. She's allowed an off day.
Yeah, she's not done bad.
Best do it at the Algarve Cup rather than the World Cup as well.
She's saving them. She's saving them for that.
Well, she will be doubly determined to make up for that as well. This is Rodriguez once again up against Fischer here. Fischer again takes it away with relative ease as well. See Sjögren and Jakobsen switch flanks by the Swedes as well, as Lani was Schölin in front of her. And Dahlqvist up there in support as well.
I know it's only been 17 minutes gone, but so far Fischer's been the outstanding player, hasn't she?
By a country mile. This is Krieger, who's played the best pass of the game so far. And this time slightly overhit this one. I'll tell you what, she's going to keep it in there, O'Reilly, as you know, just fails to keep it in. As we said about Abby Wambach, most of the players out there have got a 2-page profile. Hers runs to nearly 5 sheets of A4 for what she's achieved in her career.
Yeah, it's impressive, isn't it? And when you read some of the things, you forget actually how much she has actually achieved, and still going really strong.
Still a page short of yours, though. There's Sega. Rampone isn't going to get there. This is Samuelsson. A lot of ground to run into here. Klingenberg is backing off a bit. Well, there seems to be at the moment little understanding. You talked about this system that they were trying to play, and at times it didn't look as if they knew who was supposed to be where, and that sums it up.
Exactly the same, yeah, which is what I was saying before.
Guessed right, good save.
It does take a while to get that understanding of a new formation, and it does seem that they're not quite sure, especially when they're going forward.
See, there was a good chance. They do play very narrow, those 4 at the back sometimes. Haven't seen too much of O'Reilly in the game yet. Again, trying to play it out from the back, but the USA pressing them deep into their own half. And Samuelsson into Fischer again. Sega. Schölin's doing her best, and by doing her best, she's dropping almost inside their own half in order to pick it up. Dahlqvist comes short here now. They're trying to stick to their footballing principles here, But again, the USA making it very difficult for them to do it.
Yeah, that's what America do. They stop teams playing, don't they? And fair play to Sweden, they're still trying to do it, and they're still trying to have that one player come short and receive the ball and play it out, but it's difficult for them at the minute.
There's Dahlqvist again, nicked away from her once more. Now they've got a bit of width here again with Schelin. Asllani is waiting in the penalty area. Back to it from Rubinson. Schelin sets it up. Again, just goes too deep here. Dahlqvist struggling to keep it in play. Finds Samuelsson forward here now. Schelin will pick this up. Thought she was going to bring that. That's going to be a handball. Fallen on top of the ball.
Saw to see what Schelin was trying to do. She was just trying to be a little bit too clever, wasn't she?
Bit cute. And there's Asllani. Saw her goal poaching instincts in the goal that she scored the other day. Here's Klingenberg then. And down to Krieger. O'Reilly. A turn of pace, but Rubinson sticking with her. Better start to the game for Rubinson.
I was just going to say, yeah, she started so much better in this game. She just had an off day against Denmark.
There's the former Australian national coach, now in charge here. O'Reilly and Solo. And their 141st appearances today, both the same number of caps. Now they're trying to work it a little differently, trying to pick out O'Reilly. At least they're trying to vary things up a bit here, USA. The break with Asllani, looking to try and get Schelin in, and she likes nothing better than that. The ball played in between two central defenders, where she can use her physical prowess and her pace.
Without a doubt, and that's what Sweden can do. They can hit America on the break, and you know that was unlucky. It was just good defending in the end, but you know Schelin wants that ball in between the defenders. Let her get onto it. Let her use, like you say, her strength and her presence.
But good quality game though this. There's little to choose between the two here. Well, especially if you're going to give a foul throw, give it away on the halfway line. Still surprising the number of times in the women's game you see that happen.
I know. Yeah, that definitely needs to improve.
Rubinson then with the throw here. Into Dahlqvist. Can't quite squeeze Jakobsen in. She might still get this in. Great ball in. And that is Lotta Schelin. And that is 1-0 Sweden. The one thing they've done that the USA haven't is get behind the back four and swing a good cross in.
And that's that sharpness, that's that match sharpness that they'll have because they're in, you know, they're mid-season, so they're used to that. But lovely play from Jakobsen. Just great work, great pressure. Managed to get the ball and then managed to get a lovely cross in. That is what Schelin is renowned for, isn't she? She can get on the end of good quality crosses, and that's, see, this is lovely. Great pressure, nice first time ball in, and you know, you'd put money on Schelin to score from there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would have probably put a bit of money on Rampone or Sabrun, especially with the experience they've got of actually not letting her get in front of them.
Yeah, without a doubt, but I do think Schellin's movement is so good. She is hard to pick up. Just creates that little bit of space for herself. 64th international goal then for Lotta Schelin. Oh, only Fischer would be able to do something like that and make that look as easy as she did. You would have seen the panic rain down if anybody else had had the nerve to try it. There's Samuelsson. Not making pleasant reading this for Samani and his team, but the one thing you do know about this USA team is they go for 90 minutes, and the levels of fitness and athleticism are literally second to no one. Yeah, no, you're right. And they might be in pre-season, but their fitness levels, like you said, they will keep going until the last minute, and they'll keep pressurising and they'll keep creating chances. And I'm sure one of those chances will go in. It's just getting that clinical finish. And once they get that, I'm sure, you know, they'll keep going from there. Good start from Sweden, though.
Well, soaked up all the pressure, created or produced the best cross of the game. Is Morgan Bryant finding Rapinoe. Klingenberg coming up on the overlapping run. Again, trying to pick out O'Reilly. Trying, but not succeeding. Krieger. Into the middle of the field, taken away from her. Good break this again. This is into Sega, looking for an outlet here, left or right, and there's nobody there. Well, it's a bit of a cheap concession that by Sega.
There was nobody in front of her to play the ball to, and she just tried a cheeky little back heel, and really she could have carried on. She could have kept going and
in best true Nordic traditions, you see them pushing up almost to the halfway line for the offside trap, which did work.
Yeah. Lazy offside, wasn't it?
Yeah. Happy lady there, though. And this is Rubinson then. Into Sjögren. And to Fischer and Samuelsson. Jakobsen, she's quick, but she isn't going to get that, but they do get a throw.
I remember watching Jakobsen when she played for Chelsea last season, and always had that pace, always been able to, you know, get past the player with that, but technically probably wasn't the greatest. I think she's improving in that. I think that cross showed how much she has improved, and that's definitely down to her for her practicing and doing different drills that has helped her.
This is O'Reilly. Again, it's snuffed out fairly easily. Sega. Not a great ball by Sega.
Sweden can't sit back on this lead.
Well, I'll tell you, she might be known as Captain America, Chrissy Rampone, but she might need to put on a superhero's cape if Shelly remains in the mood that she's in. She's looked dangerous right from the off in this game. There she is, foraging around for the ball. Fischer picks it up again into Sega. This is Rolin. Rubinson. Uncharacteristic error there by Fischer. This is Rapinoe. Looking for the free kick, not getting it. There's that long raking stride of Lotte Schelin. She's deceptively quick, isn't she? At times it doesn't look as if she is moving quick, but she glides past.
She's very graceful in her running, isn't she? And it's a good running style. Like you say, she doesn't look quick, but she gets there. I suppose they call it efficient running, wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah. Not using that much energy, making it look easy. This is Rapinoe. Again, not a great ball, but Wambach's got it back. Rodriguez was through the middle there, just failed to get it through to her. Again, down to Sega, into Schelin. And Jakobsen losing out this time. Here's Krieger. O'Reilly. Into Morgan Bryant. It's that midfield duo at the moment, really, Bryan and Lloyd, that really aren't adding anything to the American game, are they?
No, they're not. They need to get on the ball a little bit more and start creating those chances. And as well, Rapinoe, she's renowned for being a really good passer of the ball and keeps giving it away quite cheaply. And again, that is the match sharpness that, you know, that they won't quite have, but again, just gives it away, you know, quite cheaply, which isn't like the American team.
Well, that's again a bit stray from Rampone. Into Sega. Now Rapinoe. Lloyd picks out Krieger. Might be seeing her on your TV screen soon. That's her aim after she hangs up her boots, wants to get involved in sports broadcasting. Zabrun. Klingenberg. If anybody ought to be able to look after herself, it's Klingenberg. She's a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo.
You wouldn't mess with her, would you?
You wouldn't, would you? Rolin taken out of position to cover for Rubenson's absence. Sega. Krieger. Not an easy ball. Dahlqvist got a foot to the ball first. Seeger again. Nice touch from Rubenson, but the pass was lacking in quality. Load again under pressure. Rapinoe can't get to it. Every 50-50, the Swedes are winning at the moment in the middle of the field. They're second to it at the moment, USA. There's Rampone.
Sweden seem to have that bit more desire, don't they, to get that 50-50 ball, and you can see they're working in ones and twos, and their work rate is really, really good.
There's Rampone. And must have amazing motivation. 38, 39 years of age, still going, looking for this 300 caps.
Gives me hope.
There's always hope. Looking to get O'Reilly running, and again, it looked like a lost cause, but she saved it. Wambach is in the center. Rodriguez is in there as well. It's going to go deep. Then I think I'm finding it difficult, the playing surface. Again, you can see this time it's Morgan Bryan who's going down. And the challenge from Dahlqvist.
Yeah, you can just see the ball just holds up a little bit, doesn't it?
Now, Rapinoe, everything she's touched so far since she's arrived on the Algarve hasn't turned out to be anything favourable, but it's got to turn soon.
Yeah, she's a top quality player, so this is her chance to put things right.
Lloyd is in there, Krieger's in there, Rapinoe's going to bend it in, and it's an easy take. And the referee, the whistle has gone. You could see how much the ball was moving there. And Lloyd is okay.
Wasn't quite a shot or a cross, it was just in between.
Oh, they're going to pick out Jakobsen. Yes, they are. Klingenberg, well, she had ground to make up, but Jakobsen just needed more quality on that.
Yeah, that's the thing. She just needs to get that consistency to a game. Obviously set up the goal, fantastic cross, and then there she had a little bit of time, could have took a touch and whipped it in, but just couldn't pick out a player. Has been super critical on her though. I think she's done really well.
There's Fischer. Sega beaten in the air. And Samuelson back to take it out of play.
Seems like today Sega's been the one that's been sitting in as that holding midfielder a little bit more rather than Dahlqvist. She's been doing it well. She's been picking the ball up from the defenders and making Sweden tick from there.
10 minutes to go then to half-time. Sweden have the edge here. Dahlqvist isn't going to get that, but again, the touch is a little heavy there from Krieger, and again, difficult for O'Reilly to bring under control. Jakobsen. Klingenberg sticking with her and winning the free kick.
Yeah, she did well there. Just put your body in the way of the ball and you're going to get a foul.
Fischer. Just a reminder for you, Germany against China is coming up later on this afternoon. Germany looking in imperious form. Again, well, mind you, it was against Iceland, but 5 goals in the opening game for Germany. There's Fischer to Rolin. Sega. Krieger. Bryant. Into Lloyd. Needs some width here. Klingenberg offers it. Now you can hear the groans from some of the American supporters that are sat in the stand here. For whatever reason, they're slow to find the rhythm of their game. Didn't find it for very long in periods in that game against Japan, and they've struggled again here today.
Yeah, the fans won't be used to that. So they'll be getting a little bit frustrated. Because you can see they're in good positions and you can see what they're trying to do, but it's just not quite happening for them.
I can see this coming up in the after-match press conference again, the conversation about the pitch with the ball bouncing and bobbling all over it. There's Rapinoe. There's Dahlqvist. Great bit of play that was by Dahlqvist. Klingenberg back to make the challenge. Sabre makes the other. Here's Seger. Using the full width into Jakobsen. That's offside, Shelley. It was Asllani who played it through to it and just couldn't time the run.
That's unlucky, though. Lovely little bit of play from Asllani. Just a nice little chip through. But it's nice from Jakobsen initially. She is well offside.
Well, she's had her moments in the game, rather like Sydney Leroux in the other game, although Leroux did score the goal. But she missed a good 2-3 chances to actually open the scoring, Leroux.
I think the thing with players like Wambach, you know, that are world-class players, that things might not be going for them. They might have had, you know, 35, 40 minutes of not quite getting there, and then, you know, 1 minute of brilliance, and they'll score you a goal. They've got that mental toughness that a lot of players don't have.
There's Klingenberg into Rapinoe again, but just look at the weight of numbers back. And Sega getting in there, getting stuck in, and there's no way through for the USA.
Fantastic
There's a way
defending.
out here. This is Asllani. There's good work, though, by Morgan Bryant. Krieger looks up again to see where O'Reilly is. Ribbenson coming over to cover. O'Reilly shows it to her, tries to get past. Is she impeded? Looks across to the referee. Wambach goes in there, slides in and takes out Rolin. She might get a yellow card for that.
It's a bit of frustration, wasn't it? I think she's seen the initial foul and wanted to help her teammate out a little bit.
Well, I mean, she's got a point to a degree. I mean, Ribbenson was leaning all over her.
Yeah. Or could you say it's good defending? It's a tough one, isn't it? As an attacking player, I'd say it was a foul. But I think a lot of defenders would say it was just strong. She got her arm across. Stopped the play from getting round her.
Wambach. Wonder whether or not we will see. I don't think she'll play the 90 minutes here by any doubt. Wambach. I'm sure we will see Leroux and Press again.
Yeah, I think so. I think this was just a run out for her. First 45 minutes in a while. So just getting that match fitness back, making sure her injury's okay. Krieger.
Again, they gave it away. Asllani has picked up some really useful possession in those situations. And Shailene there. And Sabre making the challenge.
She's just a willing runner, Shellin, isn't she? Play the ball in behind, she'll run onto
Never
them.
give you a minute's peace, would she?
No.
Rubinson then. Nice good closing down from Dahlqvist. Klingenberg, Rapinoe. Oh, first touch was heavy again by Rapinoe, and Samuelsson is still in there. Klingenberg needs to get some of that martial arts going to take her out. In the end, Anfield it comes again, and possession given away by the USA. Don't think we've seen in a tournament that we've been in, and okay, I know this is the Algarve Cup, not the World Cup, but a time when the USA have looked so average in 2 games in a row.
No, you're right, and I think definitely in this game,
Shailene wins it.
You've got to give credit to Sweden. You know, the fact that they've been putting them under immense pressure.
Rapinoe, case in point, you can see what they're thinking about, but they just can't execute it. Rubenson into Sega, 5 minutes to go then to half-time here. Shailene right on the shoulder of Rampone, who steps forward with the interception there. As Rapinoe, back by Fischer, won by Aslani. There's Sjögren into Seeger again. Shailene wicks it across. Looking for Aslani, came at her with a bit too much power that time.
Yeah, I don't think she could do anything else with that. It was a lovely ball in, but absolutely, she just threw a leg at it, didn't she, and went over the top.
Well, I think we got the answer about just how fit is Lotte Shailene. Very fit.
Yeah, yeah. But you look at the difference, don't you, between one back. Probably doesn't look at her sharpest that I've seen her.
She looks a yard off it, doesn't she?
Schelling doesn't look any different.
Well, he's got plenty to occupy his thoughts coming into the half-time interval. Fischer handballed that. Now, the quality of the deliveries has been very below average. Rapinoe, that's a bit better. And again, it's just the timing. Lloyd this time unable to get on the end of it.
That was a good delivery. Just needed someone coming in at the back post. Like you say, Lloyd, her run was just a little bit too short, wasn't it? But again, they'll come with practice, you know. A few more games.
Well, they've scored 159 goals at the Algarve Cup since they first started competing. They've won it 9 times. 38 different players have scored. But the 11 that are out here, or the 10 outfield that are out here, haven't come close. Here's Seeger. Nice ball, Dahlqvist. Shailene racing through the middle, but it's held up. Seeger. Got to watch the bounce here. And Jakobsen did the right thing, but just couldn't quite make it work. Is Klingenberg then. Rapinoe. Didn't make it easy again. Up goes the flag again. Well, they are literally on the halfway line, aren't they? Yeah. I mean, it's a dangerous game to play, but there isn't a lot of pace through the centre for the USA, is there? I mean, you're looking at, all right, you got Rodriguez on that occasion, O'Reilly, and Wambach. It isn't the quickest, is it?
No, not at all. And obviously Wambach she'll be there. You know, she's the one that wants to hold the ball up, and she's that strength and that power, I suppose, up top. But yeah, you haven't got, you know, the likes of LaRue or Press, who's gonna, you know, make those dynamic runs in behind. So will Sweden have to change their philosophy a little bit when or if they come on?
As the interception will go harmlessly back to Lindahl. 1 additional minute at the end of the first 45 here in Albufeira. Lloyd and Brian have had a pretty torrid time in the middle of the field. Started well enough, but they have been overtaken in their effectiveness by Sega and Dahlqvist. Nicely done. O'Reilly now. Wambach trying to find a bit of space here. O'Reilly, Rapinoe's in front of it. But it's like they're playing together for the first time.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It really is.
And just a reminder, you are watching the world's #1. That's flag up again. And that is the end of the first 45. Good 45 minutes for Sweden. Another instantly forgettable 45 for the USA, who did have the chance to take the lead here. A very fortunate-looking penalty given to them for the challenge of Rolin, but Wambach missed a penalty. That was one of the talking points. There's plenty of other talking points as far as the Americans are concerned, because they still just cannot find a rhythm.
No, they can't, and it's so unusual to see. And you know, Sweden, for me, they dominated everything. They were first to the first ball, first to the second ball, and America just couldn't get into their stride, like I say, which just isn't like America. So it's yeah, Sweden will be very happy with what they've done.
We'll take a short break. Stay with us, and we'll look back at some of the highlights in just a couple of minutes. For USA, first of all. Doesn't look as if they're, well, Abby Wambach's out, that's for sure. There's a change here for Sweden. Hodgson is going to come on for the Swedes, so it appears, at the interval. But initially, there doesn't look as if there is any change out there. They've got a couple of days off, remember, after this. The USA in action again on Monday afternoon. As we've said, you'll be able to see that game as well live here. Plays with Mia, does Hannah Folkesson. She's just, well, she's 25 years of age. Only made 5 caps so far in her fledgling international career. And we've got another change here as well. Is that Sembrant who's come on? I can tell you now, it is Linda Sembrant of Trieste. Sjögren is gone. Yeah, she was largely ineffective, actually. Didn't see too much of her in the first half.
No, she wasn't really in it at all, and so I think, you know, give somebody else a chance. Give Sembrant a chance, see what she can do. And
Folkesson is on there. Of course, I suppose that everybody is gonna, if you were a supporter set out there, you'd be begging for change for the USA. But Simoni's obviously just gone out and said, right, you've got yourself in this, get yourself out.
Yeah, and you know, I quite like that tactic. You know, I think it's something that gives the players you know, an opportunity then to put things right, to put the first half right. So why not? Let's see what they can do now. We spoke about mental toughness, and that's what the Americans have, don't they? So if there's any team that can turn it round, yeah, it's them.
And late goals as well, something of a speciality.
That's that fitness, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and it was certainly a feature. It was mental fatigue that caught them out for the goal in the Japanese game. Rampone. Down to Dahlqvist. She and Sega had good games in the first half. Rapinoe. Oh, Lindahl staying on her line there. She could have made the job a little easier. Zabram winning it in the air. Aslani. There goes O'Reilly, swinging it crossfield. Up goes that flag yet again, though.
Don't think Wambach agrees with that decision, but you couldn't really tell from the camera angle, but it looked like she just sort of drifted offside and didn't get back in play in time.
There goes Rapinoe. Again, lifts that ball into the middle of no man's land. Well, from afar, the queen of currency, Emma Hayes, has given her view. Looked like a team in pre-season, she said, actually. No intensities to their play. Need to take the game to Sweden, overwhelmed in midfield. Pretty much sums up the first half.
It really does, yeah. That's why she's a good co-commentator, eh?
Yeah, even when she's not here,
yeah,
her
she
views.
sums it up so well.
Here goes Rapinoe giving chase. Fischer. That's Rampone. Into Brian. Rapinoe. Newest came on the other day and had a really positive effect for the USA as well, so we might see her as well. Now Lloyd giving chase, but again, the pass is way overhit.
You've got to look on there, you know, the 60-minute mark, and if it's still 1-0, USA have got to make changes. They just need to bring somebody on with, you know, that they need a bit of like dynamic play, don't they? A little bit of quick play. It seems very.
Well, the Swedes are going to make a change here.
Slow.
Well, Aslani is going off here. Wondering whether or not she just pulled up with an injury here, as it seems a little odd that you would go out for 3.5 minutes. Goranson is in. She was the one change to the team today, Goranson, from the team that beat the Danes a couple of days ago.
That'll be a loss to Sweden. Missing Aslani, she like you mentioned, she worked really hard in the first half. She was getting on the
she
balls,
was keeping Sabra really occupied, pulling her all over the place.
Yeah.
Again, it's great work off the ball from the Swedes, disallowing USA any space in which to create anything.
Good pressure. That's obviously something that Piers Sundgaard has said. That's what they need to do. They need to press. They need to press in 1s and 2s and basically stop America playing, and it's working.
It was Rubenson's throw. Sabrun going to drop to Sega. Jonathan with the flick up. Dahlqvist second to it this time, but the whistle has gone. It's Lloyd who's being penalised there. Only ever lost on 5 occasions in the opening 19 appearances. They've won 13, drawn 1, lost just 5, the USA, over the history of appearances. So Rubenson snatched to safety by Solo. Zabrun cross to Rampone. And again, they've had it taken away from them. Brian this time has allowed herself to have it taken off of her, and there's Goranson just too high for her. Jelin will keep it in here. The Swedes ratchet up the pressure once again. Folkesson into Rubenson. Sager's behind her. Samuelsson coming on the overlap if she's needed. Chance for the USA to break, but again, the Swedes reading it well. Schelling's in here again. 2 on her. Schelling, can she get a shot off here? She's in. Schelling with the cutback right onto the foot there of Rampone.
Good play from Sweden. Jakobsen initially, what great pressure. You could see she was closing one down, then she was closing the second one down, actually wins the ball, gets a lovely ball in, and it was just a little bit too high for Göransson. Then they had another chance straight after with Schelling, sorry, and it's just, Sweden are relentless at the minute. They just keep going, and they're making it really hard for USA to even get out and create things.
Is Krieger. But again, focusing, they're just quicker to the ball again. Seems to be no real change in the domination that the Swedes have at the moment, but Rodriguez will nip in here. Now, can she take advantage here? Rodriguez, the distance was against her there, 20-25 meters out. She had to shoot.
Better though, a little bit of a driving run, picked up the ball, drove at the defence, but again, you know, Sweden were back. They were in a nice compact line, and she had to take a shot from outside the area, and you know, straight at the keeper.
There's Seger. Down into Ribbenson. Not a lot of space there. Göransson may just get through, and Krieger stood her ground. Seger up there to close them down again. Now, they've got options here. Rodriguez peels wide. Wham back through the middle. O'Reilly's available. Rapinoe's got to make it work this time. That's a much better ball. Picks out O'Reilly. O'Reilly. A good hand on that as well from the keeper, Lundahl.
That was unlucky. Very good pass from Rapinoe. I was pointing to play it out wide because you could see the space that was there, and she made the right decision. But well defended by Sweden again.
There's Seger. And Samuelsson's forward going on the overlap, offering herself. 6 players forward in advance of the ball for Sweden. There's Jakobsen, giving it away though this time. Lloyd into Bryan, finds O'Reilly. Wambach is moving, Rodriguez is moving. This is Rodriguez. And back goes Seger and just bundles into her, but giving away a free kick in that position shouldn't be too much danger.
Not at all. I think she probably had to do that. They were on the break and she was just running back in play, and it's just a bit of a clumsy foul more than anything.
Now quickly taken. O'Reilly with the cutback. Rapinoe. And it just escaped her. This is Krieger. Can she bend one in? Cuts it back instead. Dahlqvist is there. Third time Dahlqvist gets an attempt in at clearance. There's Sabrun. Back again it comes. Sails over the head looking for Rapinoe. Samuelsson getting in there, and Rapinoe decided to go for glory.
This is better from America though, isn't it? They got that little bit of urgency. You know, I think they're looking at the clock thinking, we need to score. We need to score. If Sweden get another one, it's going to be even more difficult the way that they're defending. But yeah, this is much better from USA.
No sign of any changes being made. Only 7 games they've played in, and this will be the 73rd of the USA not scored a goal in matches in this competition. Good challenge again, hard and fair. And we saw this in the first half. There were periods of the game where it was very much condensed into the middle of the field.
But they still try and pass the ball out, and that's what I like. You know, I know there is times where you need that long ball forward, but they're trying to play football. They're trying to play in little triangles, and it's nice to watch.
Don't forget as well, this is going to be significant because this will be the end of an unbeaten run as well for USA, which is currently at 43 games. They've not been beaten since they were beaten by Japan on March 5th of 2012. There's Rapinoe. Rapinoe. Well, she might be having an off day, but she still never shirks in terms of effort, does she?
Not at all. She still gives 100%, like all of the players are. You can't fault them on effort. You can't fault them on what... You can actually see what they're trying to do, but it's just that... It's that decision-making or that final ball just isn't quite there, and it is that they're in pre-season. You can just tell they're not at their sharpest.
There's Rubinson. And again, Rubinson tries to gallop away, but only succeeds in giving it away. Again, it's a nothing ball, and Wambach never likely to be able to get in there. Folkesson holding it up, waiting for Samuelsson. Looking for Dahlqvist. Beaten to it by Rampone. Here's Sega. Back to Samuelsson, closed down by Rapinoe. Schelin. Neat little sidestep with the ball. Too weighty this time. Is Morgan Bryant. Gonna have it nicked off her if she's not careful. Coming up to that all-important hour mark when you think that the USA might be thinking of making changes.
Be very surprised if we don't see a change within the next sort of 10 minutes.
Rapinoe just underlines exactly what we said about the fitness and athleticism levels of the USA. Just continues to run and run and run and run. Here's O'Reilly. Krieger's up with her on the overlap, but she's looked a little off the pace as well, O'Reilly. But don't forget, they are playing literally 2 games in 2 days.
Yeah, no matter how fit you are, it's difficult to do that. And, you know, all your recovery strategies come in, your ice baths and your skins and things like that, to try and get yourself ready and prepared for that next game. But it is difficult.
Wambach in there, lurking around the place, looking to profit on any indecision, any mistake. And again, that's a difficult one to deal with because the ball again moved in the air. And the wind again causing a bit of havoc from the set plays. They can't get, you can see there it is, it's just holding up in the wind. Really strong hand that from Lindahl.
That was all she could do, and it was an out-swinging ball, and you could see the movement, couldn't you? And all she could do was just put the ball behind. She did the right things.
And you can see the corner flag is blowing around the place. And Lindahl, players going down inside the penalty area, took a touch. It was Fischer who went down. Is Fischer getting involved? It was Wambach and Fischer. Let's have another look at it. Yeah, it is. The two of them going down. 2 wily old pros there. One looking for a free kick, the other looking for a penalty kick.
And they didn't get anything.
What would be good, actually, is to see somebody else maybe step forward or them to vary their corner kick routine. They did it once, trying to play to the near side of the penalty area. They do it again this time, and comes back just, what, about half a metre over. And it's Lloyd in the end who just couldn't keep it down. But a better idea that time because she got power and she was able to get position with the delivery. Rather than just hoof it in and get it taken by the wind. There's Schelin. Jakobsen looking to get in Schelin. who's all over the back of Rampone.
I think you've got players in the box like Wambach who can get on the end of anything. I think, you know, probably your strategy would be just get the ball in the box and let her get on the end of it, but it doesn't really seem to be working. So I would like to see maybe a bit of a mixture of set pieces.
Wambach is over here, but O'Reilly might keep it in. And it's followed out of play, though, by Rubinson.
I have to say she's done really well today, Rubinson. She put that first game to rest.
So Zabrun moves toward the near post. Lloyd is in there. There again, it hangs in the air, and it's easy for Lindahl to just get a fist to it. Just a load of bodies in there, and put wide in the end. That was unlucky, that. You can see Rodriguez, or O'Reilly rather, coming through and getting the final touch, but Dahlqvist got hit accidentally. Look at Wambach and Fischer between it. It's like a boxing match between those two.
It's a great battle, isn't it? Absolute great battle to watch. I think Dahlqvist just got I don't know if it was a stud on her toe or seems to be in a bit of pain.
You can see there Sega saying no, she doesn't need any medical. She's all right.
Yeah. Because I think they know that then you've got to go off, haven't you? Yeah. So you're a player down.
Conradson is about to come on then for Sweden, who are making use of the substitutions as opposed to the USA so far, who aren't.
High pressure game that Sweden have been playing, they'll have to make substitutions because the girls are going to get tired out there.
There's Krieger. O'Reilly. O'Reilly looking to try and get Wambach away. And once again, it is Fischer that comes off as the #1 in that battle. Folkesson to Jakobsen, held up by Göransson rather, and Rubinson making ground. Good challenge. Really good challenge that by Rodriguez.
Like you said, Fischer and Wambach. Fischer's coming away as the winner so far, you know, in that battle. I'd like to see USA bring on, you know, the likes of Press or LaRue that are going to get in behind and give Fischer a different challenge. Because at the moment she's coping quite well.
It's funny, in the other game against Japan, they were creating so little. What we were saying was at the time they needed somebody to hold the ball up, so they needed Wambach on. It just shows you. Different game, different set of problems.
Definitely.
Jakobsen is going off. Good game she's had.
Yeah, she's been very effective, and just think she must be tired because the amount of work that she's done up and down the line, closing defenders down, you know, not just when she's on the ball, but off the ball as well, has been tremendous. So save her for the third game.
Conradson. Emily Conradson, 24 years of age from Umeå, 11th cap for her today. Made her debut in a loss to Canada a couple of years ago. Here's Göransson. Good work, Krieger. Into Lloyd. Finds Bryant. USA playing into the wind. Here comes Rapinoe. You can see how much power she's having to put in to make the ball travel as well, which gives you an indication of the problems they've got out there. Lindahl, who applies not a lot to that and then sends it 60, 70 meters downfield.
Yeah, you can see the grass is long and it's difficult. You have to put a lot of pace on there on the ball to try and actually get it to your player.
And let's be honest, the Americans are used to playing in the very best arenas with the very best playing surfaces.
Definitely.
So here we go. Here come the changes then for USA.
Player out. Number 7, Morgan Ryan.
So Morgan Bryant goes up. Newest, that was a substitution before. She had a really good 20 minutes. The second change.
Substitution for the United States of America.
Rapinoe's going off. Well, it might not have been going well for her, but she has run non-stop for the 67 minutes here. And the game she played just a couple of days ago.
That's what you know you're going to get from every player in the American national team, that they're going to work their socks off, even if things don't go right.
It's unexpected, even if it's not going. The last thing you want to be accused of is lack of effort, I suppose.
Without a doubt.
Now here comes Shailene. And going in there to make the challenge against Samuelson. Solo staying on a line. Wambach getting it clear. Krieger. Neat little dummy inside of Sega. Newis. The good challenge that was. Rubenson certainly made a massive improvement on the first 90 minutes that she played.
Substitution.
And we're going to get another couple here.
Player out. Number 8, Amy Rodriguez.
Amy Rodriguez leaves.
Player 8, number 23.
Kristen Press is in. Well, this will give them a bit more of a surge going forward.
See, I think we've got that balance now. We've got obviously one back there that's going to hold the ball up, and then you've got Press with the pace that can actually get in behind. So
had a really good start to her career at the top level as Press. Again, really had not a lot to do in the second half. Hope Solo. Wambach winning it in the air. There's Fulkerson. Goranson. Krieger's back. Zabran. Looking for Press. 11 goals in, what, 15 internationals for her since her debut. It's an incredible scoring return, and knows, of course, the Swedes very well indeed, along with Klingenberg and Whitney Engen, playing with Triesa in Sweden. Rampone. Rubenson. Newis. Yeah, just the quality is lacking again here. Krieger. There's no way through. This really has been a wall of a back four, hasn't it?
Yeah, that was brilliant defending there.
Oh, she's given it everything in search. As O'Reilly just hasn't worked for her today. There's press. That's better. Now there's a bit of space. They're in behind Rubinson here. O'Reilly needs to make this count. But it's floated to the back post and back across it comes. Well, it's all about the decisions you make, and did she make the right one?
I don't think so. Lovely play by Press. She got the ball and she got it out wide to O'Reilly, which that's what O'Reilly wants. She wants the ball in behind. Let her use her pace. For me, she should have just hit it across the floor. You got players coming in. She tried to float it into the back to one back.
$18 minutes left to play here. One back goes down. Sega's challenge. Again, just looks a bit weary, doesn't she, as she climbs to her feet.
She does. That was just intelligent play. I don't even know if that was a foul, you know. I think she went down quite easily.
Yeah, that's brilliantly done by Rubinson, but Riley is still giving it plenty down there, just battling every inch of the way to try and get beyond her. Yes. But everybody inside the Swedish half, and they got another free kick here. Samantha Muse, who's only recently made her debut. 21 years of age, the average age being brought right down these days in Team USA. It was, you look at the likes of Abby Wambach at 33 and Rampone and Hope Solo. These are the elder statespersons in this team. Fisher deals with it easily. Wambach and Press waiting and waiting patiently here. Newis whips it in, and again right onto the foot of Rubinson. Newis, Samantha and Kristen. Kristen's had up about a dozen caps, or just a few more than her sister.
I thought that was a foul then on Press. She's looked lively since she's come on. I think she's wanted to come on and prove a point and show just what she can do.
And again, something for the ever-willing Göransson to give chase to. Sweden about to get another change. So Emma Lundu's going to come on, a forward from AIK. It says it all about the substitution at this stage of the game. Quarter of an hour to go. They make a forward-thinking change. Mind you, probably because Shailene needs a rest, perhaps, here.
Yeah, again, she's worked really hard and coming back from injury. She'll probably need that little bit more of a break.
Newis, a bit short that time. Zabran. Krieger into O'Reilly, plays it inside of Rubinson. Can she get in? No, she can't. Again, she's tried to do that on a couple of occasions, just hasn't got the pace to get round Rubinson.
No, Rubinson's done really well in her defending. It's just her positional, because you look at Rubinson and you wouldn't think she's the quickest player in the world, but what she does so well is she gets her body across. Riley doesn't know what to do. It's like she's running out of ideas.
Yeah, a lot of sheddings going off. The goal scorer leaves the field to rich applause from the Swedish faithful, which travel in abundance wherever the Swedish national team go. There's always a good contingent of support there, and she is a national hero. Sega into Volkersen. And Zabren.
I think what you get from Lund as well is another willing runner, somebody that's going to close the defence down and I suppose just take that break off the Swedish defence, because at the minute America are getting a little bit more momentum, aren't they? They're putting that pressure on. And
well, how ironic would it be that the coach that began this great unbeaten run is the one that ends it with the opposition. There's Lund. Into Sega. Rubensen. Krieger. Nice ball, Krieger. Had to stay on side. Press is going to give chase. Fischer is just making sure that Lindahl gets there first.
Again, intelligent defending. Fischer just got a body in the way, made it difficult for Press to get round. Let Lindahl come out and clear the ball.
There goes Seeger. There, he nearly got it back then as well. Well, that's eating up vital seconds here for Sweden. And Volkersen. Goranson giving chase. Interestingly enough here, if they sent anybody forward, no, Fischer has remained back over the halfway line. This is Rubensen. There's another change coming up here for USA. Wambach is going off. Just obviously not quite fit enough yet.
No, and she's got, you know, she's had a good 80 minutes under her belt, so that's a little bit of, you know, match fitness for her. But yeah, she's not got that sharpness yet.
And it should be easy. And is. So Sarah Hagen of Bayern Munich is making her international debut here today.
That's what this competition's great for, isn't it? Giving young players an opportunity to play on this stage against...
Well, to play against such top quality opposition, really. And again, they're going to get done for a foul throw there. Inside the final 10 minutes, is this the end of the 43-game unbeaten run? That's beautifully nicked away. Now, Press, what can she do here? Can she go all the way on her own? Tries to create the angle. They're queuing up in here. That's great last-ditch defending there. And who else? Nina Fischer. Getting a body in the way, making the interception.
Brilliant defending. Sweden just aren't going to give this one-goal lead up. You can... Fischer just dives in the way and, you know, I think gets the ball to the stomach, but she's up and she's ready again.
Well, it was Lloyd, as you can see, with the shot, but we talked about the contribution that they've given to the game in the certainly the first and indeed the second half. It's been They've been dominated. Lloyd and Brian before it. Kristen Mears is on, along with Sister Sam, to try and break that mold. Now they're in here. Now this could be the equalising goal. Just didn't get a hold of it at all. Well, that was the opportunity, the moment they'd been waiting for.
And they just couldn't quite finish. It's that clinical finishing, isn't it? Lovely leap initially to actually win the ball and flick the ball on, and nice gambling, but just clinical finishing. Just could not, you know, the keeper had gone down. Could she have just played it? But
well, goal scoring isn't really the game of the Mears sisters. That is not their role. So, you know, it falls to the wrong person in the right position. Wambach's been playing for 82 minutes, never found herself in a position anywhere near that quality. There's O'Hara. Over the top he goes. Press giving chase again. Don't forget, Germany and China is our second game of the day. And remember, of course, it is just over a year to the World Cup finals in Canada. So competitions like this are vital in the preparation. That's beautifully done. Now that is superb defending from Sega. Lloyd is complaining about the quality of the challenge here, but Sega superb.
Absolutely superb, and she's been quality all game. She's just sat in front of the defence. She's just got the ball. She's played it nice and easy. But that is fantastic. In the 83rd minute to get back and put that tackle in, superb.
Not a good corner. Rapinoe's gone. You think about it, Lloyd getting in that position there. She's had a couple of shots. She's probably had more goes at the Swedish goal than anybody else in this second half.
I think probably the last 10-15 minutes America have created more chances than they have all game, and that's that little bit of desire and passion and maybe fitness coming into play. Just haven't been able to finish them off.
Rampone off of O'Hara. And that's going to have to come back. Swedish voices audible in the stand below us. Krieger with the layoff. Here comes Lloyd again. Put some pace on it, that's better. That's the first time they've delivered a ball with anything like that amount of menace.
Oh, perfect ball right into there. It's just right into the penalty box. It's so difficult to defend. You could see Fisher didn't know where it was, and I think it was press just coming in, just couldn't get on the end of it.
Well, they went close. Certainly Hagen and Press have just added a bit more intent. They look a bit more lively. They're causing a few more problems here for Sweden. They've got inside 5 minutes, plus probably about 3 minutes of additional time to cover the substitutions that have been made. That isn't over yet for the USA. Problem with being the world's #1, the problem with the nation which has really set the standards for everybody else is that when you fall below it, it's very obvious.
Without a doubt, and I think every team raises their game when they play against the likes of United States, and you know that's what Sweden have done today. They've raised their game and they've played probably, you know, at their best, whereas America have played underneath their best, and it is quite obvious.
Not an awful lot to smile about.
I still wouldn't give up on America getting a late equaliser, though.
Done it so many times in the past before. Press through the middle. Hagen's up with her. Press trying to get it through to Hagen. Hey, she's going to get there. And Lindahl was just a little slow initially. Did brilliantly in the end to stop it. And what a moment that would have been on her debut to save the day.
Fantastic little bit of play from USA. But what
there
a save from Lindahl.
And O'Reilly is still there and still going, but so too is Rubinson, who's there and has never let up for an instant in the battle between those two.
Yeah, Lindahl could have actually just won her team the game there with that
there's
save.
A problem, and it's a free kick. Lund is going to be pulled back here. What a moment for the USA. They've had a couple of chances in the last 5 minutes. One that fell to Mewis that she couldn't get any power on, and that one. Here they come again. Lloyd is there on the edge of the area, hooked clear by Sager. Mewis waiting in the penalty area. It's brought under control first time by Hort. That's got to be a penalty, hasn't it? Right on the edge of the penalty area. Well, what you saw this Colombian referee give a penalty for in the first half, the initial reaction was from that penalty. Not to be given. Fulkerson.
I think she's trying to make amends for a wrong decision in the first half, because for me, looking at it here, looked like a Stonewall penalty, didn't it?
Well, Lloyd is very disappointed with this. Let's have another look at it. Well, that's the free kick there. We need to have a look at the one at the other end, really. And I don't think we're going to get a chance to see it now. Sola was beaten in about the 80-something minute by Miyama. I think she should be watching this with a bit more interest. Lloyd still moaning.
It's hard to see, wasn't it?
Fisher's in here, and she was playing that back across for Darkvist to come in on the back of. Well, the one positive thing about that for the USA is she's out of position at the back, but Sweden pick it up again. What a moment that was.
It was.
If there'd been a bit more pace on that, she could have got more power on it. She might have had a chance of beating Solo with a header.
Yeah, Solo actually did well there with her. She anticipated it well, that that's what she was going to do.
There goes Press. Hagen is in field of her. Well, the Americans over the years have liked to dish out some rough-ass tactics. They can barely complain about what's coming at them here today. Sager, can she get the challenge in? Lennon! Oh, that was a great chance of Mewis coming in there.
USA just aren't giving up. This is what we know what they can do, and you know, in the 90th minute they're still going, they're still trying to get that equaliser. They don't want to give up this record.
Christy Mewis looking to add to the one goal that she's got. Those two sisters, you might remember, we saw that pair debut in the under-17 World Cup a few years ago. They went on to play the under-20s as well, so they've trodden a fairly well-trodden international path to the first choice 11. No wonder she hasn't had that smile off of her face since the goal went in by Schelling. She will be bathed in a warm glow of success. Look at it.
Oh, yeah.
Can't get the smile off of her face.
I think against your old team as well, it's even more sweeter.
Well, you never know. She might get out and give us a song. I hope
so.
not, but you weren't there to see the last one. Here comes Krieger. Press. Well, Lloyd is there, and she swung an arm then, Lloyd. There it is, just the handoff in the face of Rubinson.
Bit of rugby tactics there, wasn't it? That's just a bit of frustration, I think. They know there's not much time.
This is an emotion he's never felt before. The emotion of defeat.
Not a nice one.
That's through by Dahlqvist. And Soda's got to get it moving. Press through the middle. Fischer, though, is in command. She doesn't stay in command for long, but then she's quick to recuperate.
Just makes you wonder if America would have made those changes a little bit
earlier. Yeah, absolutely right. There's Sarah Hagen running through, making that challenge there, putting Fischer under a bit of pressure. She's had one very good chance. Now, can they break through here? No. Sembrant, the ones who got it clear. And that is it, I think. The final whistle is gone. Sweden celebrate. This is quite a famous day, this, because the 43-game unbeaten streak, which has run since March 5th, 2012, is over. And the woman in charge of the team that started it is on the team who finished it.
Unbelievable. For me, Sweden deserved it. I think Pia Sundhage got her tactics absolutely spot on. I think the girls worked so hard. They deserved it. Yes, USA came back into it and they had those chances sort of late on, but yeah, thoroughly deserved it. Let's see how USA react now to a defeat. That's the question.
They've only got Denmark to come, but it is not going to be their year this year. They will not be making the final. Abby Wambach looked well short of fitness, really. But everywhere you look, there was quality about this team, the Swedish team, none more so than the number 5, Nina Fischer, who was just immense.
Oh, she was. She led her team, and she was the one I mentioned in the first 5 or 6 minutes. She was the one that was winning the ball and, you know, just, like I say, leading by example. And everybody took that and they were pressing from the front. They just made it so difficult for USA.
Just think of all those wasted years she had as a midfield player. They could have probably won a couple of World Cups with that if they'd have had her in position. But the goal, remember, scored by Lotte Schelin. She didn't last the 90 minutes, but overall a very deserved victory here for Sweden. They've beaten the USA by 1-0. You said you actually fancied Sweden today, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I don't mean to brag, but but no, I did. And I just think the way that they've been playing, and obviously the way that USA hadn't really been playing up to scratch. So yeah, I was right for once.
There you have it. Sue will be back a little bit later on, and so will we, because we have Germany in action against China. We're looking at some of the key moments of the game here. Well, too many of them for the USA. But I think Samani will look at this and go, look, exactly the same as the Japanese game. We had chances in this game, and if we'd have actually had our sharpness up front, we'd have won the game.
They could have, easily, without a doubt. And that's something that I think he's got to be happy that they are creating chances. I think that's when you start to worry when, you know, you're not doing that. They are creating them. They're just not scoring them. They're not clinical. And we keep mentioning it. It is pre-season for them. The girls aren't sharp. They're not match sharp. And